Amazon has become the latest global behemoth to push for work from home for an extended period. Now, Amazon employees globally who can work from a remote location have the option of doing so till the end of June 2021. It's not just Amazon. Before that, Twitter has allowed work from home indefinitely for some employees. Facebook has extended its deadline to July 2021. So has Google, and others have followed as well. Why just global IT companies? In India, your three tech majors, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, all have between them over 8.5 lakh employees who are currently working from home and will continue to do so for the next many months. Now, we've talked about this earlier, but it seems more and more that this is a trend that is here to stay. We're obviously not talking about the sectors or the job profiles where you have to be there in person. Clearly, those will return to normalcy and are continuing to do so. But what about those jobs that can be done from a remote location? Will this be an enduring trend? What is the impact it will have on productivity? And does it really work for the employer and the employee? To speak on this, I'm pleased today to have on the show Mayank Kumar, founder of upGrad, one of the companies that has also extended work from home for its employees. Sashi Kumar, MD of Indeed, and Neha Bagaria, founder and CEO of JobsForHer, is also on the show. An important perspective to add, because the work from home formula and option has changed the scenario in many ways for women who want to be a part of the workplace. So welcome to all of you. Mayank, let me begin by talking about your perspective as a company, as an employer. What is your ideal for work from home? What have you decided to do and why?
So, no, thanks a lot for having me here. In terms of work from home, we started the work from home initiative on 16th of March when the first email went out. And it does seem like yesterday when we sent across that email, and we thought a lot will break. But from our side, when we started getting to work from home, the initial few months were quite a bit of a shaky grounds. We could not, I mean, a lot of things were breaking down, the collaboration, the engagements, and people coming together. But then over a period of time, we have understood how that work from home dynamics really work, with how teams should come together, how regular catch-up should happen, how people should sort of start having weekly, fortnightly, monthly catch-ups. Things have started looking much better. Just a point of view that we have is there are specific roles, whether it be technology, product, even for that matter, sales and marketing. A lot of these functions can work remotely. So we feel that even today, as we sit, our work from home was extended till December to end of this year. We are extending that to June 2021. So we do see that we can continue working from there. There are other roles where we see still efficiency not coming in to the same extent. There are certain roles which requires creatively brainstorming for teams to come together, see the storyline, etc., content and building the content front. I think on those places, we are trying to still get our hands or get our feet properly as to how that will work out. But I think we are quite comfortable right now in terms of the work from home. It's getting extended from today till even middle of next year.
All right, so that's huge. That's huge. If you want to extend work from home for a majority of your workforce, you would say, Mayank, for what extent of your workforce will work from home extend till June 2021?
I think right now we are 100% of them are working from home. So there's not a single one visiting the office. So everyone is remotely functioning. Zoom is the new office space where everyone logs on in the morning, catches up. So 100% of the employees are work from home right now.
Okay, just one more question, Mayank, before I move on to the other panelists. What is your take on productivity? Because that is always the big question and the big challenge, right? There is a saving in overhead costs, office space, rentals, etc. if people move to work from home. But productivity has always been the challenge. Do you see that as a question? Have you seen an uptick in productivity, or you're okay with a little bit of slide in productivity levels?
No, I think you're right that for a lot of our employees, the time that it takes for them on travel and sort of, I mean, in urban centers, traveling even 5 kilometers would end up taking 30 minutes many a times. Those time savings is what employees and sort of colleagues are spending on work. If you ask any employee, and I think that's a global, I mean, it is a macro trend that I'm hearing, everyone believes that they are now working a lot more. Because now work and life, and personal work and professional work boundaries have sort of diminished. So that's a trend where people are spending more time. In many functions, Tamanna, to your point that productivity does increase. So if I'm talking about technology or product or design for that matter, we have seen productivity increasing. Specific roles where we do require a lot of collaborative functioning, where a team has to get together to meet a particular target, there has been a dip in productivity, but I think we are, given the time extension and people are spending more time, it just gets covered up with more time being productively spent on professional work rather than on, rather than on travel and pieces where you were not being productive in your workforce.
Okay. Sashi Kumar, we've spoken earlier about how more and more people on your site, when searching for jobs, want options of remote working or work from home. Has that trend continued, and do you think that this is something that will persist even beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, where it's not a compulsion? All of this, remember, for many companies and employees and employers has started out as a compulsion, but will become a choice which is being made.
Yeah. So yes, job seekers are increasingly looking for jobs which require or have the ability to work from home. But before I answer that question in a little more detail, talking specifically about Indeed's also having all its employees 100% work from home till July 2021. Post July 2021, over 90% of our employee base will have the option to either work full-time from office, work flex, which means work a few days from office and a few days from home, or be completely remote. So that's something which will be extending beyond 2021 July as well, once hopefully everything settles down. Coming to the market's perspective and the demand, from March of 2020 to now, we have seen a 395% increase in the number of searches for remote or work from home jobs. Unfortunately, on the other side, the employer response hasn't been that great. I think a lot of employers are still not opening up as many roles to work from home as the demand is. And also, as part of a survey that we did recently, about 70% of the employers said they will not continue remote working once a solution to the pandemic is in place. We interviewed a sample size of about 600 companies. Yes, on one hand, we see that there is a significant surge in demand, and we believe that demand will stay even after the pandemic ends. But companies are yet, at least in India, to open up to this.
That's an interesting perspective, and another very important facet of this trend is what it does for gender balance in the workplace. And Neha, I want you to come in here. There are mixed signals on this from everything that at least I have seen and heard so far. On the one end is the positive point of view that a lot of women who found it difficult to, balance work and home at least have an option to participate in the workplace, even if they have responsibilities at home looking after children or elderly parents, etc. On the other hand, the stress levels are just increasing so much more for women who now have to juggle even more. So what has been the perspective that you are looking at?
Tamanna, I absolutely agree with you. And in all the different surveys that we've been doing of our women audience, we've definitely found that women are absolutely overburdened by the double burden that they have right now, which is managing both work as well as home and family responsibilities, and with all sorts of physical boundaries between the different responsibilities having completely been eradicated. And that is causing a lot of burnout. It's causing a lot of women from frankly giving up, and saying they can't do it anymore, or it's causing a lot of them to become quite unproductive at their workplace, which is then creating more layoffs and more cutbacks. That being said, though, this has also ended up becoming a huge opportunity to be able to get a lot of women who were previously constrained by, say, geography or time, to be able to find those flexible job opportunities that they were always looking for. So in the last 5.5 years that JobsForHer has been around, we have always seen a huge demand for flexible job opportunities. But like Sashi mentioned, the demand for those opportunities far outstripped the supply of those opportunities. And in these last few months since COVID hit, companies were forced to figure out how to make work from home work. And when they were forced to figure that out, like Mayank mentioned, they realized that, hey, this is something that is doable even in the future, because it also helps them reduce a lot of their infrastructure costs or hiring costs, or create a lot of employee satisfaction and higher productivity. So we actually, on the JobsForHer platform, we've seen a huge surge in the number of work from home positions that have been coming into the market, and more importantly, the type of work from home positions that have been coming up. Previously, the kind of work from home roles that we saw were more lower paying jobs like content writing or telesales or data entry. But now we're seeing work from home roles in higher paying jobs like SAP consultants, UI UX designers, accountants, teachers, etc. And that is providing huge opportunity for women now.
Absolutely. There are ups and downs of remote working, and one of them is constant notifications. I think someone's notifications are on, so if you could please mute them, because the audio is sort of leaking in. But this is a very interesting perspective. And Sashi, I'm wondering if you have seen any data to back this up. Is this leading to more women in the workplace? Because India is notorious for a lesser workforce, or lesser number of educated women even in the workforce. Our labor participation as far as females is concerned is not up to par, or even as many as those who are educated. Do you think work from home can change that equation?
Absolutely, it has the power to change the equation. One thing which is important to keep in mind is that we shouldn't believe that the work from home experience will be the same in the future as it is now. Right now, there are a lot of constraints. There is not a lot of support available at home. There is still constraints in the number of people who can come in and help out at home, etc. A lot of people are still stuck in the cities where they're staying alone. Once people are able to see some sort of a fixed tenure, in the sense that they know that they can continue to work from home over a long period of time, families will move back to places where they have got more support, and that will definitely improve the work from home experience for women. And I definitely think that this will improve, labor participation for women in India. And secondly, it will also improve the kind of talent available for companies across, because they'll be able to hire women who would have actually not been able to get into the workforce. There's a lot of talent in India sitting in cities where large companies don't have offices. That talent is suddenly available for you. So I do believe this move towards work from home will be positive for both companies and generally for workforce balance, and for people who are living in smaller towns and cities as well.
Yeah, because just a statistic that I'd love to add over there to what Sashi said, about 70% of women in India migrate to another city after they get married. So you have this huge talent pool of qualified, capable women who are sitting in tier 2, tier 3 cities and don't have the job opportunities to use their talents. And that entire workforce can now get available for these work from home jobs.
No, that's absolutely true, Neha, and I've actually seen a few examples of that happening over the last few months. But Mayank, I wanted to get your perspective on the longevity of this trend. Now, June, July 2021, and that sort of deadline or timeline coming through is also reflective in part of how people are calculating the length of this pandemic sticking around. So people are thinking, okay, maybe we'll get a vaccine by about March, it will take more time for everyone to be vaccinated, and then things can start returning to normal. My question to you is, what do you want to do when things return to quote unquote normal? Would you still want to have this system in place where a significant part of your workforce works from remote location? Would it then open you up to looking at talent from outside the typical talent pools where your offices are located?
No, I think in the long run, I agree that things will evolve and we have to see the situation. But I'm also, see, well, all the positives of work from home, Tamanna, the various things for us to notice. Look, I mean, we grew before the pandemic. We were at about 300, 400, 500 people. And as we speak right now, we are 1,500, 1,600 plus. So we have tripled our workforce. And in that context, one of the critical things for you to notice that as you add more and more workforce, maintaining culture and that consistency, the decision making just completely breaks down. So once the pandemic gets over and once sort of normalcy returns, we do believe that, I mean, I personally would like our team to come together at a single destination, single location. And I'm more so speaking because culture always outlives a lot of what the benefits of work from home can bring in. And that, I believe, is what we will get to in the sort of post-pandemic world. It may evolve into a manner that, look, I mean, we already had 2 days in a month work from home concept pre the COVID era. It may get extended to 5 days of work from home in a month context. But I think I definitely feel that if there's a time frame when the teams come together, the decision making, the way you tackle a problem, the way you solve a particular issue brings a lot of consistency. That's aspect one. Aspect two, we also should appreciate that a lot of people in this country are living in joint families, small houses. I mean, when I'm doing sometimes conference calls, I mean, I come from a privileged background. I can afford to sit in a quiet corner and have this conversation. But in many places, I've seen my colleagues doing the conversation with me outside the kitchen, next to the bedroom where they're sitting with the family out there. So it's not the most convenient sort of environment. There's a fair amount of investment that has gone in real estate and in the infrastructure in offices. So I do believe that there's advantages of that. So we'll end up in a mix of situation. But for us at upGrad, it will be predominantly in-office work with some more flexibility given for work from home and remote working.
Fair enough. You know, Sundar Pichai has also spoken about a hybrid model evolving over time, where there will be some employees or some teams which will need to be in office all the time, some that can have a mix of in-office and remote location, and some that need not come into office at all, or maybe more infrequently. Maybe models like that will emerge. But you know, an important point that you were making earlier, Sashi, is how most job givers or employers are looking at the scenario, and not many of them seem to be very enthusiastic about this as a long-term trend. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, that would be a fair assessment as it stands, but things will evolve, Tamanna. So as you see demand and competition for talent hotting up, we will get to a situation where demand will sort of outstrip supply in a lot of roles. At that stage, the ability to work from home, I believe, will be a pretty important perk. And companies will be, sort of have to sit back and look at the kind of policies they have. So that will be something which will evolve. I don't believe that the current reluctance to allow more flexibility at the workplace is permanent. I think it will evolve. And as the demand for talent goes up, we will see that becoming a lot more flexible.
You know, Neha, just a quick word from you on how women can take advantage and make the most of this. And I especially want to make a note of this on this program and for those who are watching. We talked about a lot of talent that gets left by the wayside or is not in the marketplace or not in the job market because of personal considerations, because of home duties and responsibilities. How can they make the most of this current situation where there may be employers out there willing to look out of the box?
So frankly, this is actually the best time for women to really ramp up their careers, yeah, because There is a study that shows that as the affluence of a family increases, the chances of that woman working decreases.
Yep.
Now the opposite is going to happen. So when the job of the primary breadwinner becomes at risk, suddenly everybody's going to realize the importance of the woman's career as well. And so this is actually the best time for that woman to rally the support of all the family members that she requires to be able to accelerate her career. So I think that if that woman actually grabs this opportunity to focus on her career and showcase to the family that this will be important for the family's financial needs, this can be a watershed movement when everybody rallies around getting that woman to accelerate her career as well.
And people should pitch in with this opportunity. Well, this is a trend that we will keep tracking right here on the India Development Debate. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today.